There will only be a 17-day release window for Warner Brothers movies. Now, this is pretty much the worst case scenario that many filmmakers and people in the industry feared, that there would be a little bit over 2 weeks of a theatrical run. This has caused controversy on both sides of the aisle, so to speak, no pun intended, with people saying, yeah, that's the one. With people saying that, that's enough time to, if you want to go see it, that's plenty of time. You could go see it, and people who want to see it at home can. Others say that's not the way films are supposed to be made. It's a very interesting argument, but just kind of an update of what we assumed would happen a couple weeks ago with the acquisition of Warner Brothers by Netflix.
I mean, it's good for us. Like,
point the mic toward your mouth.
Hold on. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I need to move it.
You need to point it toward your mouth directly.
Yeah, I know, but okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, it's good for us.
Right.
Like, I prefer this because for movies that I don't want to see in the theater, I can't see in the theater for whatever reason, I don't have to wait like 6 months for it to come out. I like this, but it's clearly going to reduce profits for big movie studios. But I don't know. Oops-a-daisy.
Somebody knocked something over.
Allie's about to take out two of the cameras.
I think you're going to have to get your camera. We're having a little chaos.
Animals are so great.
Welcome to Cush's nursing
home for
pets.
Don't even get me started. All right.
Okay, but that's my. I mean, and we're probably going to get into this when we talk about like Leo and his opinions on stuff like with theaters, but clearly the landscape is changing right now. Right. Clearly, it's changing. We don't know where it's changing to. We don't know how things are going to end up. But as far as I'm concerned, in me personally, I'm down with this.
Yeah, for sure. And you have to understand, again, trying to tell you both sides of the argument. Netflix's side of this is that they'll be able to take whatever films those are and get them into their streaming platforms quicker and make more money through the advertising. I assume that's the reason they're doing what they're doing. That's pretty much been their sales model since the beginning. What does this mean for the future of film? We don't know yet. It's still too early to say. There was a time when, currently, a theatrical day window, a standard one, is 45 days. So
I think that's BS, though. I mean, most movies, it's months and months before it comes out.
Well, and studios, the thing about studios is they can pull it sooner if it's not making money, or send it to video on demand. If it's not making money in the theater, they can do it that way.
Right.
So there's a lot of questions about films like Avatar, films like Lord of the Rings, the Marvel films coming out. Is that going to be the same effect if you don't see it in a theater? I think that depends on your tastes and where you kind of stand with the issue. Netflix has bought Warner Brothers. That's the reality of the situation. The reality is they're going to do what they want to do with it.
Right.
And this fits their business model. This floats along with what has worked for them.
Right.
And as Cush mentioned, this is just a reflection of the times changing. I don't think that Warner Brothers would have had any different outcome with anyone who would have bought them and their library. Cush.
This is just where the world is going. I don't know if it's going to end up being good or bad for who and how and all of that, but AI is going to make making movies significantly cheaper, which means they don't need as big of a window you know.
Right.
Now, what does that mean for art and the human spirit and all of that?
Ridley Scott and James
I don't
Cameron,
know.
all those guys.
I
Yeah.
don't know. And big movie. This may be the end of big movie studios. And instead we're going to have these media conglomerates like Netflix. You know?
Well, and our friend Mr. DiCaprio had a few things to say about that, which we'll check out here in a few
Right.
moments. One thing I wanted to add is it's important to know how Netflix tracks their movie showings. They don't see it as a box office release. It's what's called a concession. We say concessions because that's how they track events, by concessions. So remember, they did K-pop Demon Hunters earlier this year. They can't technically charge admission because you're paying for the subscription. So instead, when you buy a ticket, you're receiving basically a coupon worth the price of admission, and that's why they don't report box office returns. It's reported as just profit to the company in the form of what's called a concession. I thought that was important to bring up since you know how they measure their success. So they're not measuring it based on how many ticket sales at the box office. That doesn't matter. They can't sell that anyway. So what they do essentially is say, we're going to give you the option. If you want to go to the movies, we're going to give you this free pass that will allow you to watch our streaming content in a movie theater. That's essentially how they're looking at it. Now, will that be the way going forward with Warner Brothers and the films that are coming out? Warner Brothers got a lot of films coming out. Don't forget, this is the studio that has DC. This is the studio that's going to bring us Warner Brothers. I mean, come on. The Matrix. I mean, their library is incredibly extensive and only getting bigger. And they're still a major studio. Thank you. The Harry Potter stuff, all that stuff is yet to come out. So a lot of questions raised with this. We also got a report that Warner Brothers turned down another hostile offer from Paramount. We'll get to that story also here in a bit. But lots of shakeup in Hollywood right now.
They clearly just want to go with Netflix, but there's all these legal ramifications of not, like, you have an obligation to accept the highest offer for your shareholders, like, and so they have to make all these reasons why they're not accepting it, but they clearly just want to go with Netflix, and they're going to. So,
well, and as we've mentioned in previous stories, there does appear to be some kind of bad blood amongst the studio heads.
It's personal.
And that could play a lot into it if it's like a personal battle between these guys. But the bottom line is we're just going to have to wait and see. No word on what will be that first quote unquote Netflix Warner Brothers release, but you can bet that we'll be watching it closely to see just what the outcome is, and if Netflix does indeed keep to that 17-day theatrical release window. How is that going to affect movies moving forward? We'd love to know your opinion. Put it down in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe so you know when we do our live streams, and we'll see you in the next one.